What a roller coaster that was, and what an accomplishment. So I'm just going to ask some easy questions and then open it up to the audience, because this is for everybody. But I wanted to say the first thing I heard about your film was our own Francie Neely singing the bathroom song.
Right on.
I don't know if you'll get her to do it again, but...
Oh, we will.
And what amazing credits. I don't think I've ever seen a film end like that, so congratulations to all of you for that.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about how this band all got together and how you persuaded Steve to do this film?
Sure. I met Steve, like I said, at the Late Show, but I didn't know at the time that he collected any of these things. And it was way after I left the show for Los Angeles that he sent me some of the songs. And, you know, even from the CD, which, I mean, the song that really got me, obviously, was My Bathroom. But even then, I didn't understand how huge this thing was, and that took a while. And he put the book out, and finally it started to come together in my mind, like, oh my God, this is a whole world, and he's got to let me do this film. What would you say about that?
Well, you were naturally skeptical when I sent you that CD. I think you put it on a heap of stuff at the edge of your desk for a year or two.
Wasn't that long.
All right. But yeah, it really was when the book came out 5 years ago that there started to be interest. And for the first time here, it was all laid out. But it was, as wonderful as the book was, it was clear as I was gathering more footage and meeting more people and going deeper and deeper that it couldn't really be contained by a book anymore, even though there was also several volumes of the music that I put out, which, by the way, you can find if you go to industrialmusicals.com.
That didn't take long.
Yeah. Sell, sell, sell.
I learned it from those things too.
That's right. But I started getting inquiries from filmmakers saying, "How could this be a documentary film?" And I said to Dava, who had moved to Los Angeles, "Can you look at these people's samples and websites? I don't know how to judge any of this if they're right for me." And she said, "Number one, no, they're not. Number two, I'm going to do this." So suddenly all was clear, because I knew from the editing days that she had every skill and more than I even understood at the time that would get her through this, but also that we had this great shared sensibility, and I knew she would do it right, and I was absolutely correct. So that's how it happened.
But the other thing is, we didn't know that at the time we started shooting that the Late Show was going to close down. There was so much that we didn't know when we started, so we still had a long way to go once that initial thing happened.
Yeah, and we didn't know that, like the thing with, I was going to meet Pat, but I didn't know Sandy was going to be there. That was all real. There's Sid. What a wonderful day I had with Sid. We dearly wished he could have made it to see the film. Of course he couldn't, but what a thrill that the family invited me to go out to Illinois for that memorial service. So just all the things that we could never have imagined. Roller coaster, as you say. Yes, exactly.
Can you talk a little bit, the producers, about how you got all that material together and kind of how you wrangled Steve? Because I probably need some wrangling.
Oh my gosh.
There was no wrangling of Steve. Getting all the footage, I mean, Steve is sort of the treasure chest of this footage, so it was really, he had it all. It was really in documentary is how you're going to pay for it, if you can, or try to find a way. So that was probably the biggest challenge, is figuring all that part out. But yeah, no, I definitely did not wrangle Steve. Maybe you did.
No. I mean, well, maybe for that final number, there wasn't much wrangling. I mean, we had to wrangle all the cast and bring them together. But I guess the story was something that we kind of worked a lot on, the structure. Because as we kept diving into more footage, we realized that this really was a story about Steve using this music to connect with other people. And that's the heart of the movie. And that was something that we worked very hard on, to allow the audience to be in Steve's shoes and learn what he learned and be illuminated that way.
At the risk of needing to be wrangled, I would like to make a point, which is that we, four of us, have seen this movie dozens of times. Tonight was the first time Dawn ever saw this movie.
I approve of this motion picture. I think it's a laugh riot. It's rollicking fun for the whole family.
That's a good answer. Thank you. Okay, well, for all the people in the movie, we wanted to make it right for the the veterans and the collectors and the people who knew this world. It meant so much to us that it be done right. And yeah, I think
I've
it
seen
was.
so many times it's gone the wrong way with, you get some crazy, amazing world and then it'll be reduced to this horrible movie and then it's just gone.
And Don, you're gonna play some of this music upstairs, right?
Yeah, I brought a whole lot of industrial show tune LPs. Steve has about, probably I'd say 100 times more of these than I do, but I have some of the good ones, and I have a couple he doesn't have.
He still has the only known copy of Gould Growing and the only known copy of Meade Johnson, We Begin With You, so.
I'll play both of these at the thing out there.
And the thing will be immediately after we finish in here.
This thing.
So, don't go anywhere. Let's see, I wanted to just, Steve, read you something that I'd read that you said and see if you could respond. You've been quoted saying, one of the great messages of the movie is the value of looking with fresh eyes at what's been discarded. Can you say a bit about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of collectors of various sorts respond to that. And even toward the end of the movie, you see me picking through a dumpster, for God's sake. I mean, that impulse will never go away. And I think, Don,
It's a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing. I picked through the dumpster of Western civilization, and now look what happened. We've got this great thing going on. But you certainly have amassed an enormous collection of records that people were trying to sell for a quarter somewhere that are now treasures.
Yeah.
Filmmakers, you see stories where other people don't see them, and somebody skips past that. Oh, that they make a snap judgment about its worth or its depth or its viability or whatever, and people like you with those extra levels of vision see what other people don't see. So there's just every way that this becomes universal. It's not just about collecting and looking through dumpsters, although I do like dumpsters.
I wanted to share something with the audience. One of the aspects of the Youth Cinema Arts Festival that those of us on the board are super proud of are the field trip screenings, which are for students. So tomorrow morning, some of you are leaving, but some of you are staying, and this movie will be shown to about 200 high school students here in the auditorium, and we're really proud of that. And I think that's going to be a little eye-opening, so you're going to have to share a bit of Americano with these young folks.
You'll first have to explain what records are.
They've come back a little bit. Barnes & Noble sells vinyl records now, for God's sakes.
Okay, let's open it up. If you have a question, just raise your hand all the way in the back.
This question is for Steve. Did you attempt to reach some of the companies for archival material that they have in their files?
Yeah, the companies, that angle is interesting. I had tried back in the 90s with very limited success. Like I managed to get a hold of a historian at JCPenney, and they said, yeah, we kind of know about that stuff, but I don't think we have anything else. That was the best case scenario. All the other ones were like American Standard or Gould. I would call them up and say, I'm looking for this record album, and no one from that era is around anymore. Nothing from that era has been saved. We don't have archives that go back that far. Gould was very confused. I said I was looking for this record album. They said, oh, we're not a record company. And I said, no, I understand that. You fuses, batteries, catalysts for cars. Motors. But in 1976, we had this meeting with a souvenir record. No, we're not a record company. So it just got into this loop, and I just said, thank you for your time, and hung up. But Dava and Ozzy, especially in the last couple of years, worked some connections and got us into places I could never have figured out. And I think you would agree that these companies were, number one, stunned that any of this had ever happened. It was just outside of their range of their own institutional memory. And they had not saved any of it, but they were also very pleased, would you say?
Yeah.
Most of the footage that you see in this movie are from the performers, from some of the producers for these shows, the companies, including, we contacted and had some really high-up friends at the Ford Motor Company. They had not saved any of this stuff. What was another company that we, GM, Coke.
General Electric, they seem to have thrown everything away prior to like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But they were thrilled because it was stunning to them that this had ever happened and so surreal, but it also kind of put them in a good light. And I never want to say that this movie should be seen as an apologist project for any sort of corporate entities, but there was a time when companies really felt like these are our people and we're going to see them this year and next year and the year after that, and they're our family and we all believe in the same mission and project, and there was something noble about that. And I think a lot of that went away, and maybe the pendulum has swung some back toward that. I hope so.
Other questions from the audience? Yes, right here.
How long did it take to film?
Well, it was 4 years, off and on. Basically, we would get some money and film and then take a break, or then something would happen, we have no money, so I would just do it myself, and then we'd raise some more money. And so, yeah, it took us from about 4 years, from the time he was on his book tour and all the way until the musical number, which was last August.
Basically, before we started, I got pregnant and had a baby, and the baby's now 3. So that's a good indication of the movie.
But it took the final number you see on the streets there, the Warner Brothers backlot, that was shot in 1 day. And that, to me, is amazing. That was movie magic of the highest order, which these folks figured out months in advance meticulously so it could work in 1 day.
I mean, it was shot in 1 day, but it wasn't made in 1 day. But the lyrics of that song Steve wrote with Hank, who was 91 at the time.
Yeah, Hank did the music, I did the lyrics for that song.
And we rehearsed it with a wonderful choreographer, and we planned it to the T, and we managed to get everyone there. And Don got to meet Pat and Sandy for the first time.
Yeah, and I got to sing with them in like the Warner Brothers recording studio. That was pretty fun.
It was so adorable to see how starstruck you and Jello Biafra were when the bathrooms are coming ladies showed up.
When you're in the presence of these goddesses, what are you gonna do? And the Up Came Oil guy, oh my God! I have his autograph on my copy of that record up there. The Exxon, which Exxon was that?
That's the 76 Exxon.
Yeah. 76 Exxon salesman.
Is there another chapter where this journey continues?
Well, job one is to get the movie out and distributed, which these folks are up to their eyeballs in the details of right now. I do believe that is happening soon. And from there, I don't know. I would love to go out and do more of these shows that you see a little bit of in the movie, where I present an evening of the cream of the crop of the video stuff. Like the entirety of the bathrooms are coming filmed, the entirety of the silicones, the entirety of the Purina Jog Chow Spectacular. That is that is an evening of entertainment that will permanently rewire your brain, and I would love to do more of those, and I would love to do more songwriting. I've kind of gotten a taste for that. Oh, thank you.
He's quite a finger picker as well.
Yeah, that opening song is also Steve's lyrics on the opening animation part.
Yeah, but it'll change your life, I think it was. But I don't know exactly how this is going to flow out. I just love going to festivals and talking about it with people and meeting people and hearing their reactions, and stuff naturally comes out of that, I hope, for all of us.
Well, we'd invite you here to do a show anytime, Steve. And congrats on your success on the festival circuit. Films and playing festivals, and that's a typical trajectory for independent films, festivals, and on to distribution, so we look forward to that. Maybe 2 more questions from the audience, and then we can talk informally, right there.
The movie is absolutely amazing, and just your passion and the thrill of when you would find these treasures. It was awesome, and then the others in there, I mean, all of you were like so excited.
That's why we do it.
It was wonderful.
Thank you. I know that the gentleman you see, Peter Shawn, he's the Exxon guy.
Exxon guy.
He was, I will tell you, reluctant to come out to California for that finale. He had gotten out of show business and really didn't want to go back in. And I said, I think you'll find that this is all the good parts of it and not the bad parts, because I can tell you every single person up and down the line of this project believes in it for the right reasons and wants it to be a joyous occasion for you and everyone who's involved. And he got out there, he he had the best time he'd had in decades. He just felt like, oh my God, this is true. Everybody here is wonderful. Everybody here is smart and thoughtful and just full of fun. And it was a great testament to what you guys put together that he was able to feel that happy about it.
Yes.
Were there any songs that you found after the film that you really wished were in the film? Or, yeah, just any other ones that you came across afterwards that you wish were included?
Material continues to filter in. I'm still occasionally finding records. Going out on the film festival circuit, oftentimes people come up to me after a screening and say, my uncle did this stuff, or my mother has a trunk full of material, so stuff keeps coming in like that. I don't know if there's any song that I'm agonized about. What would you say?
Oh, there's so many that I wish were in the movie. I mean, I knew about them at the time. They're like, he has like 2,000 songs, and there's so many good ones. Don't Let a Be-Back Get Away. It's about sales techniques. It's like,
This is a good time for you guys to sing it.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
Florence Henderson.
Florence
Tractor
Henderson.
Driving Man.
Tractor
Tractor
Driving
Driving.
Man is a great one. Yeah, there's so many, and we will break into song.
Sell Truck.
Sell Truck is amazing. Yeah, and there's a Mary Kay musical that I wanted to put in the movie. Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That was a heartbreak.
The best one.
There are CDs, aren't
Steve has 3 CDs on, you can access via industrialmusicals.com, and then hopefully the soundtrack to the movie comes out as well with additional songs.
But I do want to say, we would love for you all, if you enjoyed the movie, to keep up with what's going on with it on, the usual Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, bathtubsoverbroadway.com, where there's going to be news about other screenings and distribution and so on. It's the little movie that could. It is chugging up a hill caused by the movie industry not really being sure what this movie is or what to make of it, but you are now part of our rebel army, and we hope that you'll tell your friends.
Yeah, and the first step is going to be coming out here to the reception thing and just getting, in whatever sort of situation you need to get to really appreciate these records. And we're going to play as many of them as we can. And
That's right. Don's got a trunk full of them, and if you're nice, he may allow you to handle Gould Growing.
It's out there.
Thank you for being
Thank you all for being here, and